Scott Ostro pulled the wool over my eyes. He's not a from here, he's a come here. And I actually voted for him. Now I'm really pissed about this. I think I need to give you a couple of updates on different stuff that has been happening. I guess I ended my last video on Saturday showing the rain gauge with almost 2 inches of rain in it. Well, on Sunday, April 30th, we got another inch of rain, so over 3 inches of rain in 3 days. The rain was much needed, not that much at once, but nothing we can do about that. Here it is, Tuesday, May 2nd. Temperature is only in the upper 50s, 58 degrees right now. It's noon, 6 minutes after noon. Just miserable weather. I went to the bank today, one of the banks, and inquired about the check that was stolen from me in cash for $9,800 back in November. It was December when I discovered it, right after Christmas. Well, here it is 4 months later. I still don't have my money from that check. So I inquired today at the bank. They have not heard anything about that from their fraud department. I've got an insurance claim pending. My insurance will cover it, but at what point? How long do you wait before you make the claim on the insurance? So they're going to make some phone calls and get back to me to see if they have any further update on that. So yeah, $9,800, just still haven't gotten it. Purdue, so the Lothian facility, the Purdue grain facility in Lothian, Maryland, Anne Arundel County ended up buying that facility. I assume the deal has been closed. It was news about a month and a half ago, I guess. It's still a little bit murky on what exactly is going to take place there. If it remains a grain elevator, I will be surprised. I really will. From what I understand, Anne Arundel County is looking for someone to run the place as a grain elevator. And I think they are working with SMATIC, the Southern Maryland Ag Development Commission. Initially, SMATIC was looking at buying this and running it. I don't have a lot of faith in that organization in running a grain facility. There's been a lot of different things floating around on what's going to happen there. So it's going to be interesting. I really, I said an update, but I really don't have an update other than, yes, the facility has been sold or is in the process of being sold. That the Anne Arundel County government is buying it, and I guess they're getting some help from the state to keep it as a grain facility. But as I said, I just don't see it staying that way. And then the last update in that last video, I was talking about being kicked in the nuts because of this new excise tax. Well, our county commissioners met this morning. I was watching it on YouTube. They were discussing this excise tax because they needed to pass something, because something's got to happen by July 1. So I'm watching the discussion go back and forth. We have 5 county commissioners in St. Mary's County that make these decisions. So they're all discussing this thing back and forth. A couple of the commissioners were saying, hey, look, we need to drop these rates on the commercial side. These rates are just too high. We don't need the money in our budget. The proposed budget as it stands is a balanced budget without these increased excise taxes. So 2 of the commissioners proposed dropping the excise tax on the commercial part of this, which would include retail, anywhere from 50 to 70% from the proposed rates. Unfortunately, those two commissioners could not get one other commissioner on board. They took the vote to adopt the excise tax as presented at the public meeting, and it was a 3-2 vote in favor of adopting as presented, which means I would pay, if I move through with this new store at 8,000 square feet at $4.09 per square feet, I would pay more than $32,000 in an excise tax just to get a building permit. That is just ridiculous. And here it is, Small Business Month, as one of the commissioners said. Yeah, this is a great win for small businesses, right? Oh boy, some of the commissioners surprised me in their discussion in that they weren't willing to budge on this. As somebody commented in my last video, this is more like a castration rather than a kick in the nuts. Well, I feel like it now. For this, I really thought they were going to reduce these taxes on the commercial side of it. That's just ridiculous. You know, if we have another 100,000 square foot Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, or any of those type of places going in, that's $400,000 up front that they would have to pay to put a building in. That is really going to limit business growth in this county, in my opinion. We'll see what happens. Yeah, so I've got to rethink this whole project now. There was not even talk of any exceptions to this. One of the commissioners did suggest holding off until their next meeting so they could discuss this more, but the other commissioner said, no, we've been discussing it for 2 years and it's just time to make a decision here. Well, it hasn't really been discussed for 2 years. The consultant's proposal just came out in the last month, from what I understand. So as far as the actual numbers go, the public has only had the last couple of weeks to look at these numbers and to digest it and to suggest other plans. So I just feel like a castration has happened for small businesses in this county. Just unbelievable. I supported most of these commissioners, and I've got to go back and have a talk with a couple of them, because that it's frustrating. It's frustrating that they would do that. But, you know, that's the way government works. They always want more money. As I said, I've really got to scratch my head now over this. So I'm coming up to the intersection now. For those that don't know, this is the property that we would like to put a new store on. So it's about 1.4 acres there that we think we can get an 8,000 square foot building on there and still have room for parking and whatever else we need. So we'll see. So this pushes me closer to, based on my figures, about $100,000 just to get this project started. I've got to do a traffic study, $5,000 to $6,000 before we move any further. I need a traffic study done. The site plan engineer guy, that firm needs $50,000 to $60,000 to draw up these plans, and then the 32,000. So the 5, the 60, the 32,000. There we are at $100,000, and we haven't done anything. We've got nothing to show for it, but maybe we would have a piece of paper to say we have X number of cars going by the store, and we'd have another piece of paper showing the location of the building on the lot with all the shrubbery that needs to be planted and where the parking would be and all of that. And $100,000, and I got nothing. So, all right, we'll see where this goes. All right, into the store I go today to catch up on some bookwork, make some phone calls here. We're trying to do some upgrading on our computer system. That's another $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 to upgrade software and equipment. So it's a never-ending battle. Just keep the checkbook open. Oh yeah, so speaking of banks, I deal with 3 different banks. So I had to go to another bank and do a little bit of complaining. About three weeks ago, I went into the bank. Actually, this is a credit union. Deposited a check into my account. It was supposed to go into my personal account. Well, when I got home and looked at the receipt, my deposit receipt, it didn't go into my personal account. It went into my business account. I don't know how the hell that happened. And it wasn't until about 2 weeks later that I discovered this. Luckily, I had enough money in the account to cover any other checks and debits that I had coming out of that account. But if not, that could have been ugly. So this is like the second or third time from this credit union that my money has not been put in the correct account. I've been banking for 40 plus years. And it wasn't until 3 years ago that I started doing business with this credit union. And I have had more mistakes in the 3 years with this credit union than I have had in 40 years with all of the other banks I have dealt with. So I'm very frustrated, and I guess I just need to take my money out of that credit union and move it elsewhere. That's ridiculous that I've had this many mistakes in 3 years from them. Yeah, this is, as you can tell, it's a dreary day outside, and I'm just frustrated and dreary myself. Hopefully the next time I turn this camera on, I'll have better news and I'll be in a better mood, but we'll see. It's just a complaining type of video, I guess. Okay, that's it. Let me get inside the store here and make some phone calls and spend some more money. Okay, I have great news finally. So about 4 hours after I recorded the last clip talking about the check 4 months later not having my money, the bank called me and said, hey, we have great news for you. We've just got word from our fraud department that this matter has been settled and they will be sending your $9,800 to you. So actually, they're going to be sending it to the bank. So it's going to take about a week, they said, to send a certified check to my bank and then deposit it in my account. So finally, some good news for today. It's still a dreary day and it's still cold, but hey, I'm getting my money back. So great news. Glad to hear that. So $9,800 will help towards that new excise tax. So I'm still in the hole, but hey, not as big a hole as it was. Good morning, Thursday morning, May 4th. Oh, wait a minute, May 4th. I believe I've got a friend who has a birthday. Yes, I believe I do. Yeah, I actually have a friend. May 4th, it is damn cold. 48 degrees this morning. I've got the heated seats on, the heated steering wheel. It's pretty darn cold for May. Just down here at the hardware store waiting for a mulch truck to come in. Supposed to be here before we open this morning, so I'm being nice to my daughter and getting here to unload the truck for her. So it's going to be a cold one to unload. Wind is not blowing as bad this morning as it has been, so maybe I'll be okay on that forklift unloading this mulch. We'll see. Well, here it is after 5 o'clock on Thursday, and we still don't have any mulch. I have waited around all day for the mulch. Finally, about 1 o'clock this afternoon, my daughter called the company, and they said, we don't know where the truck is. You haven't heard from the driver? She said, no. They said, okay, we'll figure out what's going on. So, I don't know, 30 minutes to an hour after that, they called her back and said, oh, the driver had problems with the trailer. He's not going to make it today. He should have called you, but he didn't. But he'll be there tomorrow between 7 and 8 o'clock. So I guess I'm showing up at the hardware store tomorrow morning and hoping this load of mulch is going to be there so I can get it unloaded and move on with my day. Okay, Friday morning, May 5th. Oh, May 5th. I have got a friend whose anniversary is today. Yeah, I actually have 2 friends. How about that? So I'm pulling in here to the hardware store to unload mulch. I do not see a truck here yet. And it's supposed to be here by 8 o'clock, and it is 7:45, so we've got 15 minutes here. Let's see if we get mulch today. It's another cold morning, 48 degrees again. Wow. I think it's supposed to warm up a little bit next week, maybe into the mid-70s during the day, but this, for the first week of May, this has been a little cool and chilly weather. But hey, the sun is shining, just a light breeze. Rockfish season opened up this week, so maybe finally the fisher guys and gals can get out on the bay and the river and try to catch some rockfish. I don't think there's been much fishing this week because the wind has been blowing quite a bit. Yesterday wasn't too bad, so they should have gotten out yesterday. Okay, while waiting for the mulch truck to get here, I'm reading the local newspaper and reading about the commissioner's vote to raise taxes. This is what I like right here. Commissioner Hewitt: I can vote for 70% reduction, Hewitt said. We can always reduce it. It's easier to reduce than to raise it. When have you ever seen government reduce taxes? That hardly ever happens. Easier to reduce it than raise it. That is BS with a capital B and a capital S. Wow. And what he was talking about was Commissioner Colvin had made a motion. Where was that? Colvin made a motion to enact. Hey, there goes a boat there to go fishing. Commissioner Colvin made a motion to enact the excise tax at a reduced 70% level, or a level reduced by 70%. And yeah, Hewitt said it's easier to reduce it than to raise it. Holy crap. So here's the table on, let me move my finger over here so it's not a shadow. The table on the taxes. So this is what I don't understand. Residential development, a single family home or multifamily home for per dwelling unit, $6,697. Multifamily per dwelling unit, $3,218. But then down here, residential development and they go by house sizes. So a house that is 0 to 1,200 square feet would pay $2,500. If you're putting in a house that's 3,100 square feet or more, you're going to pay $11,783. So which is it? Is it $6,600 or $11,000? I'm not sure which one of these they adopted, and it's not clear on how you decide which scale you follow, so I don't know. But here's the one that affects me. Retail, commercial, it's per gross square footage. Ooh, gross square footage. I wonder if that includes outdoor awning space. That could be a problem too. $4.09 per square foot. Here's an interesting one. Lodging. So if you want to put up a new motel or hotel in St. Mary's County now, you're going to pay $1,342 per room. Per room. So we have a county tourism department that is always working to increase tourism in this county. How are you going to increase tourism if you can't build hotels, because you have to pay $1,300 per room? So a 50-room hotel is going to pay $50,000 plus, which I guess would actually be cheaper than a retail commercial. So if I'm paying $32,000 for an 8,000 square foot building, how many rooms could I get in there? What's the average room size? 400 square foot, so that would be 20 rooms. So actually, maybe I should just start off as a hotel. I would only pay $20,000, and then after 6 months, remodel for a retail hardware store. Well, it is now 5 minutes to 8, and I don't see a truck. The only truck I see is over there in the Dollar General parking lot, and it's just an empty drop deck trailer. Okay, let me keep reading the news here so my blood pressure can continue to go up. Okay, this is a prime example of an outsider coming in and forcing his or her ways upon us. So Commissioner Scott Ostro, who also ran on a platform of not raising taxes to get his first term in county government, said the county had to face reality. I don't want my taxes to go up, but we all live in a community where that's an attraction for us. Good schools, nice parks, nice roads. Scott Ostro pulled the wool over my eyes. I had a good talk with him as he was running for county commissioner, and sounded like a good guy. He's a come here. He's not a from here. He's a come here. And I actually voted for him. Now I'm really pissed about this. This is why you cannot let outsiders come into your county. This is one reason why. Because they are not going to change things for the better. This was Scott Ostro continuing. I'm really struggling with the issue of raising taxes, but we have to figure out a way to pay for this work. The issue of inflation, said Commissioner President James Randy Guy, was one that the county could not ignore. Inflation didn't just hit you at home, it hit the county, Guy said, addressing county residents. We have bills we have to pay and projects we have to go through. Colvin continued pressing for the reduction. Commissioner Alderson was also with Colvin trying to reduce these taxes. I tried to convince people Randy Guy was not our person to put back in as commissioner president. We'd already had, what has Randy been in there, 4 years already? Commissioner Hewitt is another one that has disappointed me. He is a small business owner. I don't know if he still owns a small business, but he owned a small business in this county for numerous years. And actually, he owned a couple of small businesses. He, at the public meeting, didn't assure me, but led me to believe that these taxes would not be enacted as proposed, as far as these maximum amounts. I was led to believe by him there would be discussion on this, and they probably would not enact the full amount, which they did. So politicians, they all lie to you. They tell you one thing to get elected. This is a perfect example of that. And then once they're elected, they turn things around and say, nope, we're not doing that. We're going to do the opposite of what we said. Okay, just so it's on public record, or just so it's on my public record, after Colvin's motion failed, Hewitt made the motion to pass the excise tax as it was introduced. Ostro seconded the motion, but wanted discussion. Discussion, Colvin asked. We heard from almost 600 people who told us not to raise this. That's a pretty clear mandate from the people. One such letter came from Wayne Davis, a general contractor. In the last few years, we've been faced with the worst possible scenarios to keep our business going with the continued rise and pace of inflation. Shows no signs of letting up, Davis wrote. I looked at the draft tax schedule. This document looks like how to squeeze the last drop of blood out of a turnip. Exactly. So, motion passes 3-2. Un-effing believable. Oh my God. Just got a text from my daughter. 10:30, before the mulch gets here. He's gonna call 20 minutes out. 2 mornings in a row. Wasted. Me waiting for a mulch delivery truck. 10:30, 2.5 hours from now. Good God. Truckers. What have I said about truckers in the past? You just can't rely on them. Okay, the truck was here. He was only 30 minutes late. I've already unloaded some. He's just got to move a little bit so I can get the rest of it. Okay, you can see the truck is pulling off. We've got it unloaded now. I've just got to straighten everything out. But I've got to give credit to the truck driver. He did apologize for being late. He just had truck issues and other issues going on. He did apologize. So, hey, I give him credit for that. He admitted his mistake and said, you know, don't blame the company, blame him. So that's good of him to say that. I'm going to end this video and I'm going to say, see ya.